We've seen the amateurs and their dogs come to an exciting conclusion, and we crowned a champion with Ron Anderson and Rip taking home the honors. Now it's time to see the best open players take their turn at the line. 4 handlers with 6 dogs will all have a chance, and we'll see who will win this year's crown. Welcome to the 2022 Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. Hello everyone, I'm your host David Hamilton alongside our analysts J. Paul Jackson and Rody Best. And guys, we're here in our studio in Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana. We don't call this the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship for nothing. We're here to crown some champions, and we've already seen our amateur division where Ron Anderson and Rip took home the prize, and now we're ready to crown a champion here in our open or pro division. So let's take a look at our leaderboard here, where you'll see that the fault scores range anywhere from 185 to 261. Similar to golf, in this sport you want the lowest number possible. 3 of these dogs are being handled by Stephen Durrance, and then there's 3 other competitors who are with their handlers, Leo Joseph, Luke Core, and Lee Howard. So guys, we are gonna walk away from this 5th and final series with one of those dog and handler teams being named our crown champion. Now, J. Paul, tell us a little bit about the Thorboat Series 5.
Well, this 5th series, it is a hybrid field trial hunt test. There are 5 birds to be picked up, and our judges have made it really, really challenging. Starts out with a field trial mark thrown right to left, 257 yards. That's a flasher. Second bird, another white coat mark, 157 yards left to right. It's going to be a mallard. After that, you know your dog off the marks. Run the blind, 252 yards down the gut and across those pine straw bales. 50-point penalty if you miss them. Go over to the Thorboat, grab some shells out of the apex bucket, shoot the first mark when you come back, right to left, 109. Second hunt test style mark, 60 yards in your face, left to right, another mallard. And finally, the go bird comes out from left to right, 101 yards on the go bird. So pick up a total of 6 birds.
And once that last bird hits the ground, you can pick up the 5 birds on the ground in any order you want. Now, stepping up to the line, we have Cooper and handler Stephen Durrance. They're from Sylvania, Georgia. Cooper and Stephen come into this final series with 261 total faults in 6th place.
Cooper's watching these birds really intently, and this is important because those 2 birds play a key role later on when picking them up. We've seen a lot of handlers handle on those 2 birds. As he kicks him off for the blind, let's take a look at some of the things the judges are intently watching for. And that'd be marking in memory, which is we've seen important in those marks. Those 2 long left marks have been very important. And then we see control and line manners as well, and 2, 4, 5, 10, and 20 are our point penalties.
Yeah, and he's picking up some points here. You see, man, we didn't have a dog struggle in the amateurs, but he is really working to get him over those hay bales.
Now, he finally had to say here, we saw just then, had to bring him in a little bit, give him a little verbal control, and he finally gets him over the hay bales.
Let's take a moment to hear from Stephen about Cooper.
This is Cooper. He'll be 5 next month. He's the youngest member of my team that made it to the finals, and what you see is what you get. He's kind of this way all the time. You know, what's fun about dogs like him for me is he's a product of Juice, who I train, and he's out of a dude female. So I see so much of the dogs that we have trained in the past years manifest themselves in the dog. So I don't miss the ones that are gone as much because I see them every day.
Tell you, that was really well said by Stephen also. I mean, we've all seen dogs come and go. To have the progeny live on and continue to handle is always a great thing.
Indeed, J. Paul. And we're watching Stephen finish the last 3 marks of this test, and Cooper seems to have seen all 3 very well. He had a rough start. That blind's going to really set him back. He's got a lot of work to do ahead of him to clean up that score and finish strong.
And I'll tell you, Rody, I was really surprised to see him pick up 98. The thing that shocked me the most of all, though, was the difficulty that he had in getting him across those pine straw bales.
Well, you know, we've had 5 series, and after 5 series, these dogs can begin to loosen up and not be as focused and not concentrate as much. And maybe we just saw a little of Cooper's youth. You know, Stephen said that Cooper was his youngest dog on his string that made it to the finals, and maybe we saw a little bit of that.
So after a 98 on the blind on those first two marks, 2 faults on the first mark and 48 faults on the second mark.
This mark is really tricky. If you point the dog too far left, they try to go back to the blind. They try to jump over the hay bale. If you point them too far right, they miss it and can't find it. He did a really good job on that one.
Yeah, Cooper did a really nice job there with only 4 faults. Now sending on the first of the field trial marks.
You know he's got to be rooting for him to do well on these last 2 because he's already sitting on about 150 cumulative points. Coming into this in 6th place, he's probably not going to help himself a whole lot unless he can really kill this last mark, because that was a pretty nice bird.
Yep, only 3 faults on that one with 1 bird left in the field.
We really only seen 1 dog up to this point do a really good job on this mark. Most of them have to handle, and that looks to be the case here as Cooper starts to bend right where we've seen dog after dog go. That was a handle. He handled him quickly, trying to keep the damage control down. He handles really nice. He took those casts very well.
A 54 on that final bird for a 209 here in Series 5 and a 470 total score through all 5 series. We still have 5 more to run, though. Up next, we'll take a look at Lee Howard and Shooter. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba. Sporting dogs give us everything we ask and then some. Their nutrition should do the same. By the Shreveport-Bossier Sports Commission, visit Shreveport-Bossier, and by Louisiana Tourism. Feed your soul. Welcome back to the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. We're here at the beautiful WK Palmetto Center in Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana.
Yeah, I'll tell you, David, this is a beautiful grounds, and it's got a tremendous amount to offer, too.
And stepping to the line here is our second pro to run here in the finals. That's Shooter along with handler Lee Howard.
Shooter has a lot of titles: Super Retriever Series champion, Grand Hunting Retriever champion, and Master Hunter, qualified all age as well. 8 years old, owned by Anya and Joel Walters.
Yeah, Shooter is no stranger to the finals. We've seen him here before, and maybe perhaps this is his year. Kicks him off on the blind and has a great initial line. See how he handles the hay bales as he approaches them. We've been a little surprised with the first handler having some trouble getting over the hay bales. Are we going to see that again? No, not really.
I expect a really good blind out of this dog.
Let's take a couple seconds here to hear from Lee and find out more about Shooter.
This is Shooter. Shooter is he's been a good one. 3rd time in the finals at the Crown, so he's been a great teammate and a lot of fun. Shooter's a guy that you never know where he's going to be. You might show up at the party with him. When you go to leave, there's no telling where he might be. He's there with you if you need him, but he's also, you might turn around and he'll be gone. He's got a mind of his own sometimes, and a lot of grit and determination, and if he finds something to go do, he might go do it. And I hate to make predictions on a dog because they are dogs, but this is something Shooter can do. That first series test was a difficult white coat, bigger series, and this typically throws into his wheelhouse, so I'm excited about it.
While Lee was talking there, Shooter ran the blind and had a total of 16 faults. And Rody and J. Paul, how about you catch us up on Shooter here at the line?
Well, that blind was phenomenal. That's definitely the best blind we've seen so far. And picks up Mark 1 with no problem whatsoever. Send him to Mark 2, and let's see how he does on this. Oh, he's missed it. He's gone a little long and kind of stuck in between that field trial mark and the hunt test mark. Not sure which one he's going to commit to. He's got to be getting dinged up a little bit for this. What do you think, J. Paul?
Well, he looks really, really unsure of himself. Like you said, he's kind of checked up in the middle, no man's land. And, you know, he's worked his way back a couple of times now, Rody, so puts Lee in an interesting position because it looks like he might go back and pick up that first field trial mark. Yep, pretty much sure he saw it, and he's got it there. What do you think's going through his mind now?
That's going to be interesting because he's already sent him for that bird, and now he worked his way to the back bird. Is he going to go back to that bird or try and pick up a different one? He's going to pick up a different one and perhaps come back to that mark later. So really good job on that one. No problem at all. Let's see how he does when he resends for that short bird on the left.
And on that first field trial mark, he did have 46 faults.
Now the tough part's going to be this because he went long through it before. Yep, he's not going to waste any time with the handle. It's really, really hard after you've gone on that line long to get the dog to turn around and go short. So as he started to blow on through it, Lee hits the whistle and stops him, but he's still not done.
Yeah, that's going to hurt a little bit because he's already racked up a pretty good score when he stumbled through that area and picked up the long bird, and now he's got a handle on the short bird. So those two birds dinged him up pretty good.
30 faults right there on that mark.
Shooter! Now here's the money bird, and he's heated up. Tell you, better be a lot of gas left in the tank.
This is Shooter's forte right here. I've seen him pin these birds out there, the long ones, time and time again. I don't expect he'll have much of a problem with this.
And in fact, he had no problem at all. Only 2 faults there on that final field trial mark to give him 98 total faults here in the 5th and final series for a 5 series total of 358. Currently in the lead, but of course, still 4 dogs to run here in the finals. When we come back after the break, we're headed back over to the dock.
I want to talk with you, Russ, a little bit about these dogs, what they've been through this week. You know, you and I were talking about it earlier. This is a big open space.
It really is.
The judges are taking advantage of every bit of it. You know, if you're a guy, you're on the road, you're hoping to make it here. What are you doing in your feeding schedule while you're traveling, Russ?
Yeah,
give us some pointers.
Right, so in terms of that, really trying to maintain as much, I'm going to say, routine as you can in your dogs. I know whether you're a guy who feeds, 2 meals a day or a guy that feeds a single meal a day, we want to stay as close to that routine with these dogs regardless of where we are. And certainly, like with our premium performance line, we provide a lot of GI technologies in because we know these dogs have got a lot of challenges in front of them, including some functional fibers as well as the overall digestibility of the products. And then also to incorporate some technology that helps assist in terms of any inflammation that may be taking place in the GI tract. So it's really important to maintain routine with these dogs, as well as identify a food that's going to help support their needs.
Obviously, you guys, you've put in the time, you've done the research. I mean, you guys test on canine athletes just like we have here. Yeah. So you're looking at the results of that and have developed what I truly believe to be a superior product. We obviously feed it in our kennels because it works. I can tell you, Russ spends a lot of hours working with these canine athletes to develop the best formula that they possibly can.
Always some great knowledge there from Eukanuba. Thanks so much for that. We're back at the WK Palmetto Center watching Luke Core and Indy as they come to the holding blind. But first, let's jump on over to the dock and check out Raider Run. That's right, it's time for SRS Super Dock competition. We are back at the Louisiana Boardwalk right next to Margaritaville Resort, and it's all about speed here in Raider Run. J. Paul, tell us the object of this game.
Well, Raider Run is really cool because it is a timed event. Yes, it's all about speed. The dog starts 10 feet back from the edge of the dock. The handler counts down 3, 2, 1, kicks them off. They launch, race down the pool, grab the bumper, and then right there as they cross the 15-foot mark, the timer stops.
Let's take a look at our leaderboard here as we run in. It's the best of 2 runs, and right now, Kim Dunn and Riot hold the #1 spot. And on deck is Colt 45 with handler Joel Conover.
Yeah, I remember Colt 45 from the 2021 Crown Championship. The dog has freaking loads of power.
Yeah, on their first run, Colt 45 put up a time of 19.10.
Yeah, and you notice Colt turned to the right there. That's a really good way to reduce time.
And actually did reduce the time, coming in with an 18.72 seconds.
That's definitely a better score than the first run, but still the score to beat is 18.5 with Riot.
Taking a look right here at Jameson with Katie Dunn from Morristown, Tennessee.
Speed 1 was 18.65, and Jameson is flying through that pool.
Wow, what a time. 17.37 seconds. Way to go, Jameson. But we have one more to go, and it's Riot with Katie's mom, Kim Dunn. Now, Riot can do this. He had the lead coming into this final round.
Come on, Ride. Go, 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 go. Come on, you can do it. That dog is flying through the water.
Oh, but right there he takes a left turn at the end.
And that's going to hurt his time, actually, and enables Jamison and Katie Dunn to take the crown in Raider Run with a 17.37. Kim Dunn and Riot come in second. Joelle Conover and Colt 45 come in third. Up next, we're going to head back to the retriever trials with Luke Core and Indy. The Super Retriever Series Crown Championship is presented by Eukanuba. Sporting dogs give us everything we ask and then some. Their nutrition should do the same. By Thor Boats and Lucky Duck Kennels. And by Splash Super Pools. Welcome back to the WK Palmetto Center. We're here for the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba in beautiful Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana. We're about to see our third and final team of the day run here in the open division, Luke Core and Indy. And J. Paul, tell us a little bit more about Indy.
Indy's a 10-year-old yellow lab dog, has tremendous experience. Call name Indy, registered name Indy's Best Skyline Slider. I tell you, David, I really expect to see a strong performance here out of Indy. This dog has consistency as part of its name. And see there, Luke is attacking this blind right off the bat. Man, look at that, one whistle. Easiest we've seen a dog go over those bells yet.
Yeah, quite an impressive run here on this blind so far. Just very quickly over those hay bales and straight back where Luke's wanting Indy to go. This is going to be a remarkable run on this blind.
Dog's right where you want it to be, between those trees. He gave a hard right back. Indy took it beautifully. This dog handles like an Italian sports car most of the time and really showed there. Now Luke's walking over to our Thor boat, grabbing some Apex shells out. He's about to shoot our hunt test marks.
Indy's coming off 2 knee surgeries last year and doesn't seem to have really slowed him down at all. You can see he's still very enthusiastic about the game and loves it.
Let's hear a little bit more about Indy from Luke.
This is Indy, owned by Randy Morris and Lori Knight. He is pretty experienced in the game. He's a 2-time Team of the Year. He's SRS champion. This is his 7th time qualifying for the crown. He missed last year due to an injury and finally got to make it to the finals. He's the team leader. I mean, he's kind of our captain of our crew. He's the one we can depend on. Given that, he's been in the game a while, he's qualified, 7 times. He's experienced in the game. He's very well-rounded. So, he's the one I feel confident in any situation. If it's going to get real tough or if it gets real wild and crazy, I can usually depend on him to keep me calm. And then if he does make a wrong decision, he's usually pretty trustworthy in me to get him back on track. So, I feel pretty confident in him in any situation.
And after getting 4 faults on the blind, Luke and Indy take a little bit of a different strategy here, Rhodey, in picking up these marks.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what he was trying to do there. I mean, a lot of philosophies go pick up short birds and then pick up increasingly longer birds, and perhaps that's what he was trying to do. But you don't usually see handlers pull a dog off a go bird. Usually you pick up the go bird and then you pick up the next shortest bird. So interesting strategy here.
On that mark, 6 faults, and then to your point, then went and got the go bird for only 4 faults.
Yeah, and 5 points there on that third mark that they shoot at, the hunt test style mark. So he's looking really good going into these field trial marks. And Rhodey, I think that he probably was looking at that short to longer because Indy has a tendency, as you well know, to really dig deep and drive far. And you can see it here. It looks like Indy's a little bit deep on this field trial mark.
Well, he's faded to the left. He's got behind what we call behind the gun station. And a lot of times dogs, once they commit to a gun station, they'll stay on that side of the gun station. That's what we teach them. But there you see him starting to dig and go long, so Luke's having to handle him back and bring him in and get him on the correct side of the gun station.
Yeah, and you see Luke's handling really slow and deliberately. Indy may have a little bit of age on him, but he's still a very fast dog and has lots of go.
This mark has not been this difficult for anybody previously. This is probably one of the bigger handles we've had on this bird, and they seem to see it usually. For whatever reason, Indy's close and cannot see it. Perhaps it's down in that valley just a little bit lower than previous birds, because we've seen him almost been able to see him pick the bird up from here, and now we're not seeing him come up with it. So maybe it's a little shorter than the rest, maybe.
you know that's got to be a heartbreaker right there going into that for Luke and Indy too, because when you look back, the best blind that we'd seen so far had been lead with Shooter with a 16. And after the blind in the first 3 marks, that's about where Luke was sitting with just 2 marks to go. So he definitely gave up some ground he didn't want to there.
Yep, on that first of the field trial marks there, 53 faults as we're seeing field trial mark number 2 here.
He's made it to the area, done a really nice job making it there, and again, just not able to come up with the bird. Smart hunt here. He seems to have located the station that threw the bird from, and he's making a nice big loop around to it. Can't blame him for that.
Indy picks it up with 15 faults to give a score here in Series 5 of 87 and puts them on top of the leaderboard with a 343, hanging in there, keeping the lead. But we still have 3 more dogs to run next episode. We'll see them all next week, along with some dogs on the dock, right here on the Super Retriever Series Crown Championship presented by Eukanuba. For J. Paul Jackson and Rhodey Best, I'm David Hamilton. We'll catch you next time.